It's STEMtastic Tuesday, but first, let's take a look at all of the scientists who conquered last week's challenge.
Hi, I'm Lexi Faye. I go to Westover Hills Elementary School.
What are you working on, Lexi?
I am working on a restaurant called the best restaurant in the world.
And what are you using to make it?
Shapes.
And how did you make those shapes?
I cut them out of cardboard, and then how I got them to be colors is I colored them with markers.
All right, well, I look forward to seeing what your building looks like. Lexi, are you almost done?
Yes.
Let me see. There's your building.
Great work, everyone. That was awesome.
Hi, everybody in Richmond Public Schools. Hi, students. This is Autumn Neighbors. I'm the Director of Curriculum Instruction. I'm excited today to be part of STEMtastic Tuesday. So today's STEMtastic challenge will be a poetry tower challenge. Now, why a poetry tower challenge, you may ask? Well, that's because April is National Poetry Month. So before we get into the challenge itself, I want to share something with you. So this is really, I think, kind of cool. So I was an English teacher, but I didn't love to read when I was a kid at first. And it was this book right here. It's called Where the Sidewalk Ends. And my parents bought me this book. And when they bought me this book, I started to love to read. So this is my original book from a very, very long time ago. It's the original, has my name in here, my old address. And so before we start with the poetry tower challenge, I wanted to first read you my favorite poem from Shel Silverstein, Where the Sidewalk Ends. And so this is one of my favorite in here. It was called Jimmy Jet and His TV Set. I'll tell you the story of Jimmy Jet, and you know why what I tell you is true. He loved to watch his TV set almost as much as you. He watched all day, he watched all night, till he grew pale and lean. From the early show to the late show, and all the shows in between. He watched till his eyes were frozen wide, and his bottom grew into his chair, and his chin turned into a turning dial, and his antenna grew out of his hair, and his brains turned into TV tubes, and his face to a TV screen, and two knobs saying "Vert," and her eyes grew where his ears had been. And he grew a plug that looked like a tail, so we plugged in little Jim, and now instead of him watching TV, we all sit around and watch him. So this book of poetry is very silly, very fun. But as we think of poetry can be created through any type of word. So for this poetry tower challenge, we're going to play with words. So here are the resources we need. First, we're going to need Scotch tape or any type of tape. So we're going to need tape. Second, we're going to need straws. So we have lots of straws. So we're going to use lots of straws here. Our next part is we're going to need some sort of index cards. So index cards are great because they're sturdy. So we're going to use index cards for part of our structure. And you can use colored index cards. I just had white ones here, so that'll just have to do. Now, for the STEM challenge today, what we're going to do, the challenge is going to be to create a poetry tower. But first, we need the words. So for this STEM, or some people say STEAM, because the A for the arts challenge, we're going to need some words on these cards. So I have a helper here, my daughter. She's very excited to help with this STEM challenge. So, Campbell, where do we want to get our words? Do we want to get our words? So we can get our words from a number of things. We could like open up this book and be like, all right, let's take some words out of here. Or we can walk around the house and maybe just like write words down. How else can we find words? I don't know.
In other books.
In other books, maybe walking around to see what words are like in your house on signs and houses. So there's some idea, but what we're gonna do now is we're gonna count out 20 cards.
There you go.
Okay, so we're gonna go with 20 cards, but you can pick as many cards as you want, but we're gonna try 20 for our version of the STEM challenge.
20 words.
20 words, so 1 word per card. So we'll be back in a minute because we are going to write these words down. See you in a second. All right, so we've now collected 20 words on these cards. So we have you, home, is, as, so, what is that? Shades, your, just, cool, awesome, very positive poem here. R, be, yesterday, safe, tomorrow, life, fast, stay, gnarly, and like. So these are our words that we've collected. So now we have 2 more parts of this task. Somehow we have to create a poem out of these. And in addition, we have to take all these straws and make a tower. So we're gonna go do that. In the meantime, think about when you're making your challenge, how many cards are you going to use? How many words? How many straws are you going to use? And how tall are you going to try to get your tower? So in a minute, you can check out what we end up doing for our tower. So in the meantime, we have taken those 20 cards with a word on each and determined how we wanted to put our poem together. In addition, we took a number of straws, some tape, and we're thinking, how do we create something that's like a tower? So with that, here is our final product. But before I show you, the question at hand here is how many cards will you use? How many straws will you use? And how tall will you get your tower? I'm convinced that you'll be able to use more cards, more straws, and get a taller tower than what we have. But here's what we put together. Let me show you. All right. So it starts off with, yesterday is so fast. Shades are like your life. And then the poem continues. Be awesome, gnarly safe. Just stay home tomorrow. Cool as you. And on this poetry tower, we had 12 straws, 20 cards. Let's measure it. 12 inches. Looks like 10 more inches. 22 inches. So I hope you enjoyed this STEM challenge, and we look forward to seeing your pictures and your videos and what type of poetry tower you will create. Please send those to us, and we look forward to seeing those then.